business is a life journey. It's not just financial, it's not just income, it's learning about yourself, it's going back to curiosity, it's discovering who you are, discovering what you're capable of.
What's up, everybody? It's Hunter with Painting Business Pro, and today I have Josef Hosler on the show. I'm so excited for you guys to see today's show because Josef is an amazing guy. He's been part of the PvP community for about 2 years now, and his business is absolutely taking off. In 2024, he did about $80,000 in revenue.
2025, I was in PvP. I did 260, and then now I am on track to doing 900 to maybe exceeding $1 million a little bit.
And in today's show, we dive into the source of his successes and the source of his failures.
Just being able to work through challenges and persevere was number one. Just the people that I looked up to when I was a kid. Like I saw my dad working really hard. My mom worked really hard, more than one job at one point, and worked her way up. And she still works hard to this day, taking care of grandkids and things. So I think that that's been a huge inspiration for me.
I think you're going to get a lot out of today's show and really enjoy it. Let's dive in. What's up, Josef? Welcome to the podcast, man. How are you doing?
Yeah. Good. Yourself?
Doing really good. Doing really good. Super excited to have you on the show today, man. Thanks for taking time out of your day to be on.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, before we get into it, why don't you start with just tell the audience about yourself. How'd you get started? You know, who are you? How'd you get started in this industry?
So my name's Josef. I'm born and raised in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Super cold up here. I never saw myself as someone who would be in the painting industry. I always saw myself as a business owner since I was a little kid. I had a lot of entrepreneurs in my family on my Mexican side. Both my parents are immigrants. They worked really hard to build a life here in Canada. And I think I got a lot from that. So basically, I always thought that I was going to own a business, but I didn't really know what it would be. I always tried to make it I have passions, right? Like, so I'm a very creative person. I like to make music. I like to skateboard, both super creative outlets for me. And I wanted to make those things my business. So I tried different endeavors. Like, I did some event planning. I just really focused on making music and trying to master that. Over time, I realized those weren't really going to work for me. I probably could have made them work if I focused on them, which I did, but it wasn't the quickest route to success for me. So tried a few other things. I did a landscape or a lawn care company with my brother. It became more of a casual thing. We would just do it on the weekends. It was kind of a thing for us to just hang out. Picked up a job painting. Had a couple of friends that were painting in high school. So I painted for probably 10 years. And during that time, I was still trying different endeavors, different kind of business opportunities that I saw, but none of them really inspired me. And my brother, I remember him even mentioning, like, man, what about painting? Like, painting's like respectable, and I'm like, nah, like, I don't want to paint, like I'm not passionate about it. Right. But eventually, like, kind of the same story here. I started picking up some side jobs. I was good at painting, so I started getting more. I recognized that I was getting paid pretty well. Initially it was just like I didn't have myself actually registered as a business or anything. I was just doing little things on the weekend. But eventually I recognized, hey, like I can actually make some good money with this. So I registered my business, started getting busier. There was some stuff that happened with the job that the employer that I was working with. Like, he's a great dude. We're still friends to this day, but kind of had to do with, like, during COVID, whatever, I ended up leaving that job and I was kind of on my own at that point. And so I really focused on the painting side of things at that point. And, when you start making decent money, you start to get more passionate about something and invested in it. So that's kind of how I entered into the painting industry. I've been painting, like, now I don't paint, right, for the last year, I would say. But yeah, it's been about 15 years.
Yeah. So when did you actually start your company?
I started it 5 years ago.
5 years ago. Yeah.
Mhm.
Awesome. And give us the current state of the company. Like, how much revenue did you do last year in 2025? How much revenue are you on track to do this year in 2026?
You know what? I'd like to go back one more year. So I
Yeah.
did like 80K full revenue, and then so I probably like netted 50
In
in
2024.
2024.
Yeah.
2025, I was in PvP and I did 260. And then now I am on track to doing 900 to maybe exceeding 1 million a little bit.
That's amazing, man. Really good work. Yeah, it's so cool to see what how fast your company's growing. That's incredible, man. Uh Obviously I want to get into what's at the source of that, what's at the source of the success that you've had, because many people listening are in that 80,000 a year to 260,000 a year in revenue spot or somewhere around there. Wanting to double or quadruple their business, and you're on track to quadruple your business this year compared to last year. So yeah, let's get into that. What are the major things that's been at the source of that growth?
Lots. But definitely I'd say, in the first phase zero, as we call it, to kind of phase one, I'd say grit is a huge thing. So just being able to work through challenges and persevere. Some of the ways that I found helped me have grit was number one, just, the people that I looked up to when I was a kid. Like I saw my dad working really hard. My mom worked really hard. My parents separated when we were kids, and my mom took care of like all of our four of her kids, so she worked her ass off, like had more than one job at one point, and worked her way up. And she still works hard to this day, taking care of grandkids and things. So I think that that's been a huge inspiration for me. But I think creativity is something also that's really helped me. So the fact that I'm a creative person, I've found that whenever I come across these challenges, I end up kind of flipping the perception from stressful to, wow, this is stressful, but this is an exciting situation. Like, this is giving me an opportunity to think on my feet and be creative and find resolutions to these, whatever these issues are. So yeah, I found that like just being a creative person, like if you can kind of translate challenges into exciting, it could be really useful to get through some of those hard times.
Yeah, man. It's so great. Did I hear you earlier correctly? I think I heard you this way, to correct me if I'm wrong, but you said you weren't particularly passionate about painting when you were starting, but as you've gained more and more traction and have seen some success, the passion has kind of followed. Did
Hmm.
I hear you right?
Yeah, for sure. So I would say, I wouldn't say I'm passionate about painting itself right now, but like I'm interested in it now a lot more. I want to strive for excellence. I want to be professional when I present myself to customers. I want to know what I'm talking about. So obviously that incites like eagerness to learn about everything from paint products to processes to all of the different aspects of the business.
Yeah.
And then that in turn gives me tools to be more creative, right? So when I have all of this information now, it's like I can use that in order to, again, take on any challenge that comes at me, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a really important thing. I just hear all the time in young entrepreneurs, the like, oh, I don't know if I'm passionate about that thing. And I had a similar experience with, like, I wasn't passionate about paint and would still say I'm not like passionate about paint. But as I started to get traction and like started to grow a business, I got passionate about business. And I started to realize like the reality is the bigger the business scales, the more all businesses are the same. You know, you've
Hmm.
got marketing, you've got sales, you've got product and delivery. In our case, we call it production, and you got team building. Like it's, you know, regardless of what business you're in, it's like, it's kind of all the same game, you know?
Hmm.
And so, and then I became more passionate about different aspects of the business, like building a company people love, you know, like building a really amazing culture and a really amazing team where people can build a wildly successful, fulfilling career. Like, yeah, so I just when you said that, it caught my attention because I'm like, ah, yeah, I think so many people are out there like looking for, oh, I don't know if I'm passionate about this, and then they go bounce to the next thing, and they're like, ah, I'm not really passionate about this either, and you know, it's for me, passion kind of followed as I started to get traction.
I think there's something else to say about that too. Like, what's your favorite part of the business? Like, if you had to pick one, I'm sure you have a couple, but
The favorite part of my
yeah,
favorite
like
part.
what do you like working on? I know you like marketing a bit, right?
Yeah, I like marketing. I also just really like team building, like building. I think that's the most fulfilling part for me is like building a culture where people are like making more money than they ever have, and they like love what they do, and they love the team they're doing it with. Like that's probably my favorite part.
Yeah, it's just really rewarding, eh?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome. So I what I was gonna say kind of regarding that is like as you grow the business, to me, like right now I have to wear all hats, right? But it sounds like as you grow it, you can kind of pick what you want to lean into. Am I correct on that?
yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, man. I mean, that's been my experience. Is you know essentially leaders in each area of the business, and then I'm getting more and more, stepping more and more into the things that I'm best at and that I really enjoy to do.
Mhm.
You
That's
know.
wicked.
Yeah, really great, Joseph. Yeah, so grit and perseverance. Yeah, and that's just, I'm glad you touched on that because that's such a big one to get the business off the ground. Like, because there's many points where it's easy to quit, you know, in the first, from 0 to 1, you know, like getting the business off the ground, like call it 0 to $1 million. There's many points where it's like, reasonable to quit, you know, because you're like, man,
Yeah.
this kind of sucks at times. You know, you're like going through challenges and your skill set isn't built yet. So you're not as good as you will be in 5 years from now. And so kudos to you, man, for having that grit and perseverance. Because yeah, I don't think you'd be building $1 million. I don't think you'd be, you know, coming up on $1 million this
I
year.
appreciate it, man. And honestly, like, I would say part of that is like having mentors, you know. It kind of takes out a little bit of the fear. I like to pay for my education. Like I like spending money on development because that means like I invest myself in it. It's just like kind of a little thing, like it pushes me, nudges me. Like if someone paid for PvP for me, I'm not sure I would be,
Yeah,
as invested, but it does help me get through things, having somewhat like people that I can go and ask questions to, the community. It's insane. Like people that like I talk to probably second most are like the community, like
yeah,
PvP community. It's like I'm talking to them every day, so that's been super valuable. As far as like experiences, uh, during phase 1, like, yeah, some of the things that I had to go through were pretty gnarly. Like door knocking, you know, I'd consider myself like now I've worked really hard to break myself out of my shell, but I was like a very introverted, like kind of socially anxious person like most of my life, even into my adulthood,
mhm,
Um, prior to the course, like I spent a lot of time working on that, but it's still kind of in you. And so doing door to door, I had never marketed in my life before. And I remember when I had to do that, I remember kind of like finding reasons to not do it. I'm like, oh, I got to do this first. Oh, I got to. And I think it was in January. So in Winnipeg, it's like ridiculous cold at that time, right? Celsius, I think, and Fahrenheit converge at a certain point, and I think it's kind of at this temperature. So we're at like minus 34 degrees Celsius. It's just like ridiculous, you know? And I had to go do door to door. So there's the social side of it that I was a little anxious about it. And then number two is like just frigid cold. Like I had to suit up and, you know, you're trying to like with the, I couldn't use pens because like the ink would freeze. So I'd have to use pencils and they're breaking and I'm trying to sharpen it with like my hands all cold. You're knocking on doors. People didn't even want to open their doors, you know, because it's like the heat comes out. And it's expensive to heat your homes here in the winter. Sometimes they would though. And I remember the first door I knocked, I got a lead.
Nice.
First door.
Yeah.
And it was just like so invigorating. And I remember also just being like freezing cold and just being stoked. And I also remember Eric talking about like running. And I'm like, dude, perfect opportunity to warm up my body. So I'm like running around. I think my first time doing door to door, it was like, I think I did like maybe 2 hours or something. And I got like 8 leads or something. Like it was ridiculous. I didn't close, I don't think any of the, oh wait, no, I did close one of those jobs. But yeah, it was like, yeah, the first estimate too, just like not knowing what you're doing using Shane sheets. Then you're just like, think the price is way too high. So you're all anxious showing to them. And I'm like, I think I made a mistake here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they're like, then I realized later, I'm like, oh, actually my price is pretty low. But obviously that like they can smell that you're uncomfortable and they're like, oh yeah, the price is high.
Yeah. 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 It's funny. Yeah. And in those cold temps, I bet your answer rate, I bet everyone was home, right? Like people don't leave their house, I would imagine too much, or do they? Is that
People leave their homes, but like, yeah, cars don't start as easy. Like we have these things called block heaters. You put them underneath like the oil pan
yeah.
and it just keeps like the oil fluid, you know, so that when you start your car, it'll turn over. But yeah, like, yeah, some people stay home, you know, and obviously after COVID and stuff, like a lot of people work from home. So door to door is not bad. People should do door to door. It's actually really fun.
Yeah. It is fun. Yeah. Yeah. It is fun. Yeah.
And
Great.
people are nice overall. I think people are just generally nice people, you know?
Yeah, they are. They really are. Yeah, you might get one in a few hundred that aren't, but yeah, pretty much. I mean, I've had the same experience as you. Is like, yeah, people are great for the most part, and the people that aren't, it's not personal too. You know, it's just like just water off the back and like move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Hey, Eric here. Pretty much every person that you've heard on this podcast or you listen to is someone that we work with at Painting Business Pro. We've coached some of them. We've even become business partners with. What we do at Painting Business Pro is help people who are starting or growing a painting company grow an amazing business with great profit while enjoying an amazing lifestyle along the way. And transparently, our goal is that for the right people, we actually end up making a minority acquisition to help you grow your business even further as a partner of ours in our company. If you're someone who's serious about growing your company, living a great life, and you want some help doing it, we love what we do. We're very good at it. We do it in our own businesses right now. Head over to paintingbusinesspro.com and hit apply now. And we look forward to talking with you soon.
Yeah, Joseph, you touched on, paying for mentorship. I've always related to you as like you're really coachable, you know. That's just an observation I have of you. I'm curious to like get your view about coachability and, because I think that's one of your strengths. So yeah, how do you view getting coaching, diving into the PVP program and, altering your beliefs? Like, how do you view all that?
I think, I'd be where I want to be if I didn't need to be coached. So it's like, I think you and I talked about this a little bit at Eric's, but like, I've always been a super curious person as like a kid, I was always like, oh, like, what the hell is the universe? Like, this is insane, like, what is going on? And so I think like just being a curious person, is extremely important, and just recognizing we really don't know. And when you recognize that, number one, like, just life is more exciting, and you open yourself up to a lot more opportunities to learn, to grow, to just like excite your mind, So that's kind of like the perspective that I never like intentionally tried to take that on, but it's like I think it's probably worthy of trying to adopt curiosity. Secondly, I've just like got really good like I've got good feedback from being coachable. So by actually just trying to implement exactly like what people say, obviously like, we all have our own businesses and with creativity, like we're going to implement things a little bit differently at times, things like that. And like you're your own person. But like really when it comes down to like fundamentals and things, I think it's super important to listen to the people that have already done it. And yeah, I mean, like in regards to PvP, like also you guys are like amazing leaders. That's one thing that I noticed, like the way you guys listen to people on like the webinars and things like that. There's no stupid question. I've said this before where sometimes I'm listening on the webinar, I'm like, damn, that's a stupid question. This is me needing to, to improve as a leader, right? It's something I recognize, but I'm like, damn, that's a stupid question. And then like either you, Eric, or Paul or Adam, like are completely just like attentive to it. And the way that you interpret it is completely different than what I was thinking. And it's not the most obvious response. So usually there's something deeper there. Anyways, I think I'm going a little off track with the coachability, but I do think that like the way you guys coach is like super valuable.
Yeah. I love so much about what you said, especially that you judge other people's stupid questions. I'm just kidding. No, I'm
I'm
just
sure
kidding.
mine sound ridiculous.
No, man, I love the, recognition of your own, how little you know, like your own ignorance, just by human nature, just by being human, it's that way. If you really got down to the core of being human, it's like, I know me, Hunter, like I know so little about what there is to know in the world. And so just like having that as a foundation, and then from there, like, wow, so I'm going to be really curious. It's like it's such a good foundation to have, to just be, like you said, really open, and just open to get, new ideas, open to change, altering my own beliefs. Like that makes total sense as you describe that in more depth about yourself, because yeah, like I said, I relate to you as like, oh, Joseph is like really coachable. That's like one of his main strengths. So again, just want to acknowledge you for that, because that's like, from my observation, that's like a fundamental, really foundational thing that you have embodied really well. And it sounds like it just started from a young age, and that's amazing how that just started for you from a young age. And it's not the norm, just like it's not the norm with everybody.
You know what? I think it is the norm. But just hear me out here. This isn't like objecting to what you're saying, because I think like I do think society I think kids are super curious and like imaginative and things like that. And just oftentimes society kind of can strip that away from them. You put them in front of a TV, you keep them from going outside, you keep them too safe and close, and it's like that can kind of extinguish the curiosity and stuff. So I think like it's innate in a way. But it's not the norm for people to keep raising their kids like that, and without getting too into it, my dad definitely like instilled that in me as I got older. We talked about this too. He was playing like Pink Floyd on Saturdays, like psychedelic rock and stuff that was super trippy, and it made you wonder.
Yeah.
So I think that's, it is the norm, but it shouldn't be the norm.
Right. I see exactly what you're saying. Thanks for correcting thanks for saying that. I agree as you say all that. I'm like, yeah, it's like the childlike curiosity, the childlike wonder that's just there naturally as a child. Um, yeah, and then the not the norm as an adult is just because it's been like beaten out of you, you know, to
Mhm.
some degree. Uh, so yeah, man, that's
I'll
great that it
say,
has.
yeah, I think you have to nurture it, you know, like especially in the day to day, like when you're involved, when you're just engulfed wearing all the hats in phase one, and
Yeah,
you're just trying to keep the business going. Sometimes
yeah,
you need to kind of like reset, revisit your, well, that'll take us into talking about the leadership event, but you know, I have a calling now, and when I revisit that calling, it kind of re-excites that curiosity again, and it brings you back to that like child state. But I think you have to do work when you get busy and things to kind of keep that present.
yeah, yeah. It's really great, man. Yeah, it's that's an awesome aspect about yourself, and I think very one of the things that's very much at the source of the success you've had, you know, and the
Well, it's
success
one of
that
the reasons I look up to all of you guys, man.
yeah, I appreciate that. So I want to go back to like so I want to touch on. I bet a lot of viewers are wondering like, all right, you went from I think you said 60 or 80K to 260, and then 260 to 900 to a million this year. What is that tactically in the business? What has been at the source of success? Like from a marketing perspective, did your marketing mix just quadruple this year from last year? And if so, what avenues are growing so much?
Yeah, so initially, again, it was just like door to door lawn signs. I was tossing out lawn signs like in 2025, we're talking like the 260 year. I was going out Friday nights because basically the city will take down your lawn signs if you put them on public. When you don't have jobs, we can't do job site marketing, right? So we put the lawn signs just in public spaces like intersections, things like that. I would do them at like 10 o'clock every Friday. When the sun's down, I'd be out there till like 11 and just do kind of like my route. And that was also exciting because it's like you're just out there on your own. It was kind of weird, like cars driving by watching you. I don't know why that made me feel weird, but it's all good.
Yeah.
I would do that, and then I did that for probably 3 months. Honestly, like lawn signs didn't really work for me in my market. I know they work really well for other people. Door to door worked really well for me. And then I did flyering too. Flyering didn't work really well for me. I think it probably, like from what I've heard, works a lot better when you're doing H marketing, like around job sites and stuff. But I kept doing door to door. And then eventually, I had enough jobs in the spring where I could afford to do Facebook in, I think I started that in September or October last year. And that worked out really well for me. I don't know what it is, but my ads do really, really well and they're very, very efficient. So I think I was at like 3% this year cost of marketing. And I actually had to lower my ad spend because I was booking out my estimates like 4 weeks and people were canceling and stuff. So it was actually driving my cost of marketing up a bit.
Yeah.
So I actually lowered my ad spend just recently. Now I'm at like $20 a day. So $20 a day, I could probably generate like 10 estimates. I don't take all of them. But yeah, so I find that there's like kind of a sweet spot there. Like you don't want to be taking on too
Yeah.
many leads, and then like you don't want to be taking on too few because you still want to be kind of able to
Yeah.
have like your job size, like have like your minimum job size, things like that.
Yeah.
But as far as like my marketing mix right now, we just do lawn signs in front of the like we do on job site marketing. Obviously,
Yeah.
all my guys have like they all wear like the uniform and stuff. We've got hats, we've got shirts. I've always got like the logo on the back and the front. So we got lots of like job site leads, and then referral business is also starting to increase significantly. So that's driving my marketing down. What else? We put stickers on the cans at the end of the job. So
Yeah.
that just says like, it's got our logo. I don't know if you can see it there. Just this thing with a J through it. And we put that, it's like a circular thing, and it says the phone number, the email, and then the name, and you just slap that on each can. So it kind of remember us if they ever need to do touch-ups or anything. I actually got that idea from a PvP member on a podcast like that I listened to, I think sometime last year or something.
Nice.
So that was pretty cool. Again, like just sharing ideas,
Yeah.
and then willing to try it. That's been great. And then what else do I do? So it's just Facebook primarily.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds
Yeah.
like Facebook is really driving the growth, and that cost of marketing is incredible. 3% cost of marketing, and you're spending only $20 a day and just like filling out your calendar. So I imagine a lot of people listening are like, what are you doing on Facebook that's working so well? So can you just speak to that a little bit? Like, what kind of content has been your most successful types of pieces, types of ads? Let's start there.
That's an interesting one because it's honestly pretty much all of them. Ones that I don't have as much success with are ones where I'm not in it. So I literally just leaned into me being in all of the ads.
Yeah.
They could be kind of more professional where I'm just standing there and I'll say like, hey, Winnipeg, this is Joseph with J Flores Painting. If you're looking to get a customized estimate where you're being heard and we're working with you to like create the project you want, something like that, I'll lean into like one of the aspects of what you guys train us on. So it's like customizing an estimate, right? Listening to the customer. Like I'll just do an ad about that. Or I'll do one on like when I recruit painters, I recruit them for their character oftentimes.
Yeah.
And so I have like really like just nice guys that work for me. Like they're super, super just sweethearts, like, So that was another ad. It was just me talking, like I've got them kind of painting in the back and I'm like, hey, like if you want to work with a company where there's like just professional, really kind-hearted people that you would be glad to have in your home, give us a call, So I kind of just lean into any aspect. Again, that comes down to creativity. I don't think it's all about like talking about discounts and things like that. I do throw those in there, but I think it's just like really thinking about what it is that you bring to the table and then like kind of leaning into those. And then, yeah, it's usually me talking. I have silly ones too. Silly.
Yeah.
So sometimes it'll be like, I'll incorporate animals. Like there's a lot of deer around here that just like wander through the city, depending on the areas you're in. And so that's kind of been like my shtick. Like anytime I see a deer, it's like, hey guys, like it has nothing to do with the deer. And I'm just like, hey guys, like if you need some interior exterior painting done, give us a call. And just to let you know, there's some beautiful little Bambis right here. And we'll just like zoom in on the deer and like that and hit. Those hit pretty hard.
Yeah. Interesting. That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. I love. I can see how you're creating more authentic content probably than most people in your area, and just most people in general. When you're thinking from like, yeah, what makes me unique? What makes my business unique? Customizing estimates. With the really kind, nice people in your home. Like just and just knowing your authenticity probably just really bleeds through those videos. So. Yeah, man, really good. That's great. That's amazing. Really amazing results. I mean, people would kill for those results. In terms of from a cost of marketing perspective on Meta. So,
what about yourself? Like, I know because you're pretty successful with marketing as well. Like, how do you kind of make your ads? What kind of things are you focusing on?
Yeah, we're focusing on a lot of similar things, just authenticity, that frame you just spoke to what makes us different and unique. Like we've won these awards, so we talk about these awards that we've won. We've just surpassed 500 5-star Google reviews on one of our Google review profiles, and so like we celebrate that, we talk about that. And then we always steer we steer those ads back to like why that's so exciting for us. It's not just because of the number, but it's actually just because it tells us we're doing a really good job with all the things that we talk about in our team meetings relentlessly. Like, just straight up taking care of people, like communication with people, like just straight up being like great with people. So try to lean into that quite a bit, just that like authenticity around just what we talk about habitually internally in our meetings is those things, being just providing people with an exceptional experience and just like always having their back and taking care of people. And so when we win these accolades or we pass, this number of 5-star reviews, like that's exciting to us because it tells us we're on the right track. So those types of ads, we definitely have some offer driven ads. We definitely have ads that are, showing the color, the transformation on projects. Cause, in painting, you can get that big wow factor of like the before and after, the transition, the satisfying spraying videos. So yeah, we're really leaning into like widening the variety of the ads that we shoot. And the ones that have been most successful for us are some of the ones that I just said.
Yeah, and I guess the thing is like when you're a bigger company too, you probably have to diversify quite a bit so that you can
Yeah.
kind of get every little niche of client that likes certain types of
Yeah.
ads or yeah.
And so that you can scale ad spend, right? Because if you're running the same types of ads and you try to go from $20 a day to 200 and then 200 to 500 a day and then 500 to 1,000 a day, all of a sudden it's like you can just see a point of diminishing returns. So with scaling up, you gotta create more variety of more variety of ads. And
Is that just how like the meta algorithm kind of works? Like it won't show things if they're too similar kind of thing or
yeah, if you scale budget too fast, or not too fast, if you scale budget too much without scaling the quantity of content with the same proportion, you'll see a point of diminishing returns.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. But yeah, man, a lot of the same ads work for us. Not directly the same, but a lot of the same thinking, just like me on camera, authenticity wins. In a world where everyone's going to Claude or ChatGPT, be like,
Yeah.
help me create my next 5 ads, and they're all spitting out the same thing that says, like, let me tell you the 4 things that no painter wants to tell you. Like those types of ads, I just like I cringe at those. I'm like, that sounds so AI driven. That sounds like a big marketing agency wrote that. Like,
Sure.
not saying don't go use Claude or ChatGPT for ideas, but just like strictly using it for like
You have to
scripting your
know how to
ads.
use it. You have to know how to use it. It's like you can help it refine things, but really like the prompting, you have to be like, all right, like don't change this. Just like make sure it's grammatically correct. That's what I need because it's like I'm not really the best with grammar, but
Yeah.
I don't want it changing like the intonation and the feel of it. I don't want it
Yeah.
giving different ideas of words and this and that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. The most important thing is I want to sound like myself. I want to be authentic. I don't want to sound like someone else that I'm not and try to be like memorizing and like repeating an AI script or a marketing agency type script. Those ads we've seen not do good.
So boring.
Yeah. So boring and so normal.
Yeah.
Just like everyone's, yeah. Yeah. So.
You-
Yeah, great, man. Curious, like what's been one of the big failure, and how have you overcome it?
Big failure. I don't like looking at it in like in that terminology, but like a challenge.
Yeah,
I try to call the things challenges. Like whether it's a stress, I like to call it a challenge, right? Like, but yeah, it's stressful.
yeah,
So definitely subcontractors, moving into that model
yeah,
was difficult in the first year. I had a crew that awesome guys, like awesome dudes. Again, I even off like right off the cuff, I was like hiring on personality more, and character. And these guys are awesome, but I had them around for far too long and they were just eating away at my margins quite a bit. So the first year I had them, but they were still great guys and like they got me through like the first probably 10 projects, 8 projects, something like that.
yeah,
And then of course I recruited a few other people between that time. I also like to mention, like, something just language. We were just talking about like challenges versus like using the word like stress and failure and things like that. I just recently started trying to adopt calling my subcontractors painters. I don't know. I don't like the sub, you know?
Yeah.
It just sounds like they're sub us. It's like a level or something. So I just try to say just painters, but I recruited a few other painters during that time and they just weren't it. I think a lot of that just came down to my interview process and not being able to really know what's out there. You're like, this guy sounds nice. I like him. So it was a little too much character oriented and not maybe technical side oriented and like actually understanding about painting and questions that I needed to start to adopt in the interview needed to be a little bit more focused on like the techniques and things like that, right?
Yeah.
So I had some pretty gnarly experiences though. I had one guy like threaten me, like it was like, yeah, it was pretty bad. I had another guy like threaten to take me to court because I didn't put him on another job. And what else? Like just jobs where I'd have to jump in there, like because I know how to paint. I'll say this to all the painters out there who actually know how to paint, like, you might use painting your skills as a crutch in the first little bit. I don't think it's totally a bad thing because you might not really know how to recruit yet. But you can hold on to that crutch for a little bit too long. Like, I don't know if you remember last year I did like this deck job and it was like way too far. I hadn't really touched the brush for like quite a while in between. And there was just this deck job that like I couldn't get the right guy on it and I did it. And it literally took like a week and a half, 2 weeks out of my like focusing on my next constraint. It was insane. And yeah, hey, like I made $3,000. It's like, it was like not worth it. But I remember going on a webinar with you and you were like, let's do this. Like next time you have like, I think you said like, what did you say? It was like, next time Josef plans to go on the brush, first he comes to my webinar or something and we figure out like what options he has, something along those lines. And I'm like, yeah, that would have been great because that was not worth it. It's not your highest leverage action at this point. Now you're becoming a business owner. You're not, I mean, you can be a business owner or a painter, but it's not going to get you to like past 80K,
Right. Yeah. So yeah, in the realm of, and by the way, I like how you corrected the language. We have the same thing internally too, like subcontractors. It's not like a super, it's not like a demeaning word by any means, but it's
totally.
not, it's a little like they're pawns in our scheme or something like that. It can allude to that a little bit. And it's like, we call them painters and crews. Like that's the terminology.
100%. Even the word contract, it's like very it's like very what's the word, transactional.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, it's like language creates, just I like how you're so in tune with language and you're like, I don't even like calling them subcontractors. So yeah, how has that evolved? Has that gotten better? Has your relationships with your crews and your painters gotten better? And if so, why?
Okay, so yeah, I've got a document that I started last year, and when the problems like continued happening, it was like, okay, I need to address this, right? So I started just writing down every like challenge that I experienced on the job, and I would write who the painter was, what crew it was, and then I'd write down everything that happened in detail. And then I would just analyze it and try to take extreme accountability. So I'd be like, where could I have either foreseen this, and addressed it before it happened? where could I change things going forward? And I would just have a note after every negative experience, just taking accountability and figuring out a way to kind of like resolve that issue going forward. And then also just going to Paul's webinars. Like I was at it every single week, like probably missed a couple that year. You know, I was there quite a bit. Sometimes I'd hop on yours too. It's like business. You were in like the strategic call, but like sometimes I'd pick your brain about that stuff too in there.
Yeah.
And yeah, where I'm at now, from since last year, I remember the first time I had 2 crews going, I was like so excited. You know, I'm like, oh my God, like this is crazy. Like this is a real business, you know?
Yeah.
And then now, like right now, I think like a little, like I've got 5 crews going right now, but it's like 5 to 6 crews consistently now that I'm keeping busy.
Yeah.
And yeah, like sometimes thinking back, it's kind of hard to see where you've come and really recognize because you almost forget, like in such a short period of time, your brain like gets used to this new norm. So yeah, 5 to 6 crews going, like, you know, doing anywhere between like my average is like 15K a week, but I have big weeks where it's like 40K and slower weeks. So the average is like 15 to 20-ish K a week
Yeah. Yeah.
production. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really great, man. I know I've heard you talk about just like the building genuine relationships with your crews and with your painters. And that's been a learning lesson of yours here, I think, with your crews. Can you speak a little bit to that? Like the going from like the transactional nature to like building really authentic, genuine relationships with my core guys. Like how have you been able to do that?
I guess just like empathy, like trying to, especially when you're communicating with them, like on the job, and if you want something done a certain way or something, not just like strong arming them into things, having conversations, understanding where they're coming from, having them understand where you're coming from and why you might want something done a certain way or why you might think something needs some improvement. So I think that garners a lot of kind of respect. And again, painters, right? We're on the same level. We're just doing different parts of the business. So I think a lot of, and then I just, you know, I have conversations with them. I talk to them. I want to know a little bit more about them and their lives when I'm there. You know, we send each other little texts and stuff. Like, just like,
Yeah.
you know, it's sometimes I wonder if it's too friendly at times because I'm like, I still want to keep this like business relationship.
Yeah.
But I find that people have your back when they care about you and you care about them, you know?
Yeah.
And that's not why I do it. It's just because I actually do care about them.
Yeah.
Like
Totally.
I genuinely come from like love. Like I love these guys, you know? And like even when they leave, like even if something doesn't work out and like we're go our own ways for whatever reason, it's like I still care about them. Like it's never, besides like maybe a couple of those experiences last year, like it's never hard feelings or anything. And I honestly haven't had I've had pretty good crew retention. Like everybody still wants to work with me that has worked with me in the past. So
Yeah. Really great, man. Well, yeah, Joseph, I just want to wrap up here. I just want to acknowledge you for the amazing business you've created, and it's not a surprise to me that you've created the business you have so far. Because yeah, your coachability and just like how you relate to um, receiving feedback and then implementing feedback, and how you relate to, I mean, just even down to how you talk about how you relate to your painters. You know, like genuinely coming from love. Uh, and then just like who you are for the community, for the PvP community, man. Like just at events, I want to acknowledge you for that. Um, and again, it's no surprise. It makes total sense to me that your business is just on this steep upward trajectory uh, because of the things I just mentioned. You know, so just want to say that to you.
oh, I really appreciate it, man. Yeah, and you know, like I said, I'll just say it again, like you guys are extremely valuable for like me and like my life. It's not just business development. Like
Yeah,
PvP, like you know, it's not a cult. guys. It's not a cult, but like it is family. Like like you guys truly care about the like the members in it, and it's like this is like a life journey. Also, business is a life journey. It's not just like financial. It's not just income. It's learning about yourself. It's again that going back to curiosity. It's discovering who you are, discovering what you're capable of, and you guys have facilitated that. So I'm like forever grateful.
Yeah, man. Thanks for saying all that. I hear it. Yeah, thanks. And thanks for taking the time out of your day, man, to be on the show today. This was, I think, really valuable for the listeners. I hope a lot of people got a lot out of this. And yeah, just really thank you.
Appreciate it, man.
Hey guys, if you're enjoying the show, it would mean the world to me if you would leave a quick review for the podcast and what you gotten out of it. It helps our show reach more people and inspire more people. Thank you so much.